This is your news source evening bulletin for today, Friday, the 7th day of June in the year 2024. I'm Gordon Mosley reporting, and here's what we're tracking tonight. Amid a shortage of U.S. currency on the local market, the Bank of Guyana, on the instructions of the government, has injected more than $80 million into the foreign currency market. At a press conference yesterday, Vice President Jagdeo said that together with the Minister of Finance, Dr. Ashney Singh, he met with members of the local banking sector. And the decision was taken to have the central bank intervene amid the increasing complaints from both the banking sector and the private sector of there being a severe shortage of foreign currency.
We've asked the central bank. Last week, Minister Singh and I met with him. We've asked the central bank to make a major interjection in the foreign currency market. And this morning, most people said that the market is entirely cleared.
Today, the governor of the Bank of Guyana, Dr. Gobin Ganga, told news source that the injection was to the tune of $80 million plus. The vice president said the government took a decision to intervene due to the impact the shortage of foreign currency was having on the private sector. The wait in some cases for foreign currency was too long, he said.
The reason why we did this at this point in time, because the wait was a little bit too long. The wait was a little bit too long, and it was starting to affect people's payment. And if you have to pay, it affects your track record if you don't pay on time, etc. So there's been a major injection into the market.
Mr. Jagdeo attributed the high demand for foreign currency to the rapid growth in the economy, in particular the increase in imports.
So that's natural that once the economy is growing, there will be a greater demand for foreign currency, for legitimate transactions, that is to import more goods, to import more machinery and equipment, consumer goods, to make payments for a lot of the intermediate goods. And therefore, that the market may experience from time to time some mismatches. So far, we had seen that overall the market was clearing itself. Although there was a wait list for a number of people, importers, that the market was clearing itself. Because on a daily basis, we watch the aggregate foreign currency available to the bank and their aggregate demand. Some banks may have a mismatch. They may have less foreign currency and more demand, but another bank may have more foreign currency and less demand. So we look at the aggregate.
The vice president said as the government monitored the situation, it found that the short-term mismatches had placed an upward pressure on the exchange rate, causing the Guyanese dollar to depreciate. He also said while the government does not want the local currency to appreciate, meaning increase in value, it does not want the currency to depreciate either. He said the government of Guyana is currently pleased with the exchange rate and will continue to monitor the situation. According to the foreign exchange rates published by the Bank of Guyana, the US dollar is being bought at 207 Guyana dollars and 98 cents and sold at 210 Guyana dollars and 45 cents. More news coming up in just a moment.
It's one of your biggest goals, getting your own home, where memories are made, where happiness lives. You may feel that home ownership or renovation is beyond your reach, but we at Republic want you to know that there's always a way. Ask us about our suite of mortgages. Let's help make your housing wishes come true. Or advise on how the equity in your existing home can finance other dreams and goals. Call or go online to learn more.
Are you or someone you know in the practice of stealing electricity? Stop. Placing energized wires on roadways, over trenches, dams, and other places can cause electrocution and death of people and animals. To report electricity theft, call us on 225-5251 from 8 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. Monday to Friday. You can also contact our call center at 226-2600.
A message from the Guyana Power and Light, Inc.
Chance of a lifetime with Lucozade Energize Your Drive promotion. Enter to win a fully loaded Toyota CHR or a ton of cash. $500,000 and $250,000 respectively. Just purchase 2 or more Lucozade 360 milliliter at participating outlets. Write your contact details on the back of the receipt and place them in the marked boxes nationwide. It's that simple. And you're on your way to energize your drive with Lucozade. This promotion runs April 12th to June 7th, 2024. Terms and conditions apply.
The Father's Day Cultural Extravaganza is here again. Yes, it's dedication to Daddy 5, A Father's Dream 2. Featuring Marissa Morgan Bonney, Romel Edmondson, Keisha Sam, Delisha Wright, Simone Dowding, Dolian Harry, Colin Ambrose, Mosa Telford, Frederick Minty, Antoine De Silva, Ryan Headley, Creative Arts Dance Troupe, and others. On Sunday, June 16 from 8 p.m. at the National Cultural Center. Tickets are $2,500. Directed by Sharon Cadogan Taylor.
Let's tell you now that in wake of the call by prominent attorney Nigel Hughes and a number of Afro-Guyanese rights organizations, the government of Guyana has made a decision to instruct both the police force and the health ministry to immediately discontinue the use of the word Negro and the word East Indian when referencing Guyanese of African descent and Guyanese of East Indian descent. Hughes launched a national conversation last week on the use of the word Negro by the Guyana police force to describe Guyanese of African descent. His move was triggered by the police force's description of his client, political activist Kadaki Amsterdam, as a male Negro in its press releases. Amsterdam is facing cybercrime charges over alleged threats made on his social media talk show against the president and government officials by one of the callers on the program. In a letter to the Ethnic Relations Commission this week, Attorney Nigel Hughes stated that the term Negro is widely recognized as derogatory and offensive, carrying connotations of historical racism and discrimination. He said it was imperative that local law enforcement officials uphold the highest standards of respect and dignity towards all citizens, regardless of their ethnic background. The attorney explained that the term Negro has its roots in colonialism and slavery, where it was used to dehumanize people of African descent, adding that its usage today is not only outdated, but also perpetuates a legacy of racism and exclusion. The International Decade of People of African Descent Assembly Guyana also made known its concerns about the continuing use of the offensive word. In its statement today, the government of Guyana, through the Governance Minister Gail Teixeira, said that recognizing that many Guyanese find the terms Negro and East Indian offensive, the cabinet at its most recent meeting decided that the terms used by the Guyana Police Force, the Immigration Department, and the health sector as forms of identification references not to use the offensive words. Instead, they should make reference to Guyanese of African descent, Guyanese of Indian descent, Guyanese Amerindian, Guyanese of Portuguese descent, and Guyanese of Chinese descent. In the world of politics, opposition leader Aubrey Norton has called for the establishment of an interagency task force in order to save the country's gold mining industry, which has been under steady decline. During a press conference today, Mr. Norton said the rapid decline in the country's gold production and declaration could be attributed to the government's incompetence. But even so, he said, all is not lost.
Based on our track record of success on the issue when in government, we would like to make the following recommendations. 1. An interagency task force should be assembled to address all forms of smuggling. Agency representatives should meet frequently and coordinate anti-smuggling efforts, emphasizing the sharing of information.
The opposition leader explained that the establishment of such a task force was critical to the coalition's anti-smuggling efforts. He pointed out that such a task force should comprise at minimum representatives from the Guyana Gold Board, the Guyana Georgian Mines Commission, the Financial Intelligence Unit, the Guyana Defense Force, the Guyana Police Force, the Revenue Authority, the Office of the Attorney General, and the Civil Aviation Authority. He said, however, the task force cannot be effective if the root causes of the decline is not addressed.
Labor shortage in this subsector shows signs of becoming chronic. Smuggling and illegal trading are increasingly rampant. The recent arrest and arraignment of 3 persons on a joint charge of exporting gold valued at US $560,000 without a license is the mere tip of the iceberg.
However, he said the task force cannot be effective if the root causes of the decline are not addressed.
This downward spiral is likely to persist as the government has displayed a little serious and sustained effort to tackle gold smuggling, and on the other hand, to grapple with the manifestation of the resource curse in the form of skilled labor, leaving legacy tower in the form of skilled labor, leaving low-wage industries for the better-paying oil and construction sectors.
Mr. Norton also recommended the development of skilled labor required by the industry to be a priority and incentivized. He explained that means that there needs to be a renewed push to expand technical and vocational skills nationwide, providing them with the resources and additional capacity so that the needs of the gold industry can be met.
I wonder what you know, man. Jesus. One minute then. Look like you got the whole of Guyana in your shoulder, boy. But right now me had speed him, boy. Guess who come last night and disturbed me for me sleep and telling me why she ain't got nowhere for stay and want to stay here? Who? Dulce. Dulce? The sick thing? Yeah.
You mean the smooth red thing?
Yeah, buddy.
You mean Spanish?
Yeah.
Mucho español.
Mamacita. Buddy, you can listen to me, buddy. Yes, Papi.
The play of the year is here. Ronald Hollingsworth brings to you Till I Find a Place in Guyana, the Spanish Connection. June 22 and 23 at the National Cultural Center. Tickets $3,000 and $2,500. Directed by Sharon Cadogan Taylor and Ronald Hollingsworth. Till I Find a Place, the Spanish Connection.
It's that Spanish coming inside. Spanish.
Ramp up your excitement and win the chance of a lifetime with Lucosade Energize Your Drive promotion. Enter to win a fully loaded Toyota CHR or a ton of cash. $500,000 and $250,000 respectively. Just purchase 2 or more Lucosade 360 milliliter at participating outlets. Write your contact details on the back of the receipt and place them in the marked boxes nationwide. It's that simple. And you're on your way to Energize Your Drive with Lucosade. This promotion runs April 12th to June 7th, 2024. Terms and conditions apply.
Mobil 1 is more than oil. It's many oils. It transforms at the molecular level. When cold, it's thicker than honey. When hot, it's thinner than water. Mobil 1 adapts and readapts to last longer. 16,000 kilometers between oil changes. That's your engine evolved.
Sol Guyana is the authorized distributor of Mobil lubricants.
Cure last year. It was so nice. Me and them girls had real fun. It's the best party I ever went to. As a big one.
Backed by Pablo on Demand, Team Extra present the Bad Birthday. June 22nd, 12 one-man bands running live. Stitchy Fight Machine, Murphy Invasion Band, Love Connection, Genesis, Big B, Cali World Band, Aaron the Entertainer, Water Spoon, and many more. Early bird tickets at $2,000 at Just You Size Boutique, White Castle Fish Shop, Fireside Suites, Extra Beer, Starbucks, compliments of Fireside Suites, Extra Energy Drink, and Extra Beer. The Band's Birthday, Saturday, June 22nd at the National Park. Turning now to the housing sector, the Central Housing Planning Authority intends to shift its focus towards sustainable housing with the increased attention on home ownership for the ordinary Guyanese. That's according to the Minister of Housing, Colin Crowell. He made those comments last evening while speaking at the launching of this year's International Building Expo. During his remarks, the minister said platforms such as the Building Expo have been assisting the government to drive the housing program, which saw his ministry surpassing its target in both the allocation of house lots and houses constructed by the government. He said the focus this year will be to build on that formula created as the government continues with its housing push.
International Building Expo 2024 is a platform that will bring industry leaders and government together to see new options in housing and construction that could possibly reimagine housing policy. It can also help us set an example for the rest of the Caribbean and South America. But more specifically, it will reassure our people that we are working to ensure that every citizen has a roof over their head that they can call a home.
Minister Crowell reiterated that the government is well on track to distribute its 50,000 house lots by next year. However, he noted that due to the change in the country's economic landscape, the focus has had to be shifted to align with what's happening also.
We have been providing safe spaces for many of our fellow citizens who were unable to have access before, for their children to find a comfortable environment, stability, and new community. And although it can seem elusive at times, slowly we are proving that anyone, no matter their circumstance, we can change their status to having a home.
Meanwhile, the minister within the Ministry of Housing and Water, Suzanne Rodriguez, said the Housing Expo has provided a platform for large, small, and startup businesses to expand their reach.
More importantly, while many associate this event with large local and foreign corporations, the International Building Expo is overwhelmingly supported by small and medium-scale businesses, including many startups who use it as a launching pad to catapult their business.
The International Building Expo will be held under the theme Building on the Foundation of Sustainability and Unity. The event will feature the Housing Ministry's Dream Realize exercise, where thousands of persons are expected to receive their house lots and land titles too. Social media talk show host turned government contractor Mikhail Rodriguez, also known as the Guyanese critic, has offered an apology to former government minister Simona Brooms over statements he made against her on his social media talk show. Ms. Brooms, who is also an award-winning human rights activist, has filed a $450 million lawsuit against Rodriguez after he told his audience on his talk show that she was involved in the trafficking of persons and also operated a whorehouse in the mining communities. The lawsuit was called yesterday for a status hearing, and it was then that Rodriguez approached Brooms to offer his apology.
You know, a lot of times I'm very responsive, I'm very reactive, and because of the circumstances around me, because of my business, it's my business. But this morning, when I walked into the courtroom, I looked at Ms. Brooms, and it was like a bright sunny smile. And I would want to think that we're sitting in the courtroom, she would be angered. And it brought me to thinking, you know, let's see the human side of this. And I did in the courtroom tell her, as a result, we were in the court and they're monetary interest attached to the lawsuit, but there's also a human side. And I told her, simply said that if you are affected personally, because this has nothing to do with personalities, as she would have said, this is about a legacy and the work that she has done and how she wants to be seen in society. Obviously, what I said or say affect that. And I said, I sincerely apologize if I have affected you personally.
Ms. Broom said her attorneys will continue to deal with the matter.
To say that I was a trafficker, had kind moves and things like that is something that I take deep because I've risked my life for it. It is something that I wish I never had to go through. I never had to see a victim. I never had to rescue somebody. It is something that is really, really deep. It's not something that is joke or funny or any political jobs. It's not that I'm sensitive, but it's because of truth.
The lawsuit details that on one of the morning programs that was aired on the 22nd of January, Rodriguez made several libelous and defamatory statements against Simona Brooms. In addition to claiming that she once operated a whorehouse in the mining communities and was involved in the trafficking of persons, Rodriguez also claimed that a former government minister received a $225,000 scholarship from the government and was involved in scams. The lawsuit details that on the same program, Rodriguez also claimed that Ms. Brooms was involved in shutting down various mining operations in the interior region to benefit her own self. All of the statements made by Rodriguez during the morning program have been rubbished by Brooms and her attorneys from the Dexter Todd law firm. They are seeking the award of damages in various amounts for the various defamatory and libelous statements they said he made. In total, they are seeking $450 million from Rodriguez. Simona Brooms was recognized by the U.S. State Department as an international hero in the fight against trafficking in persons for her endless work in tackling that scourge.
Look at the breathtaking beauty of the Essequibo. From its pristine rivers to its abundant resources, it's a treasure that belongs to Guyana, and we ask Venezuela to respect the rule of international law.
Our commitment to this land is not just about ownership. It's about preserving its beauty and resources for our people and future generations.
The controversy between Guyana and Venezuela was settled internationally as full, perfect, and final in 1899. Essequibo belongs to Guyana.
Guyana's economy is rapidly transforming, and we're all part of it. Guyoil is at the forefront of this development by providing reliable and efficient energy and supporting community development from the very core. 100% of Guyoil's profit goes back to building schools, roads, and other important infrastructure that connects our cities and towns, providing fuel to domestic, marine, industrial, and aerial transportation. Guyoil has now repositioned itself as market leader in the petroleum industry, building a better future for all of us.
It's one of your biggest goals, getting your own home, where memories are made, where happiness lives. You may feel that home ownership or renovation is beyond your reach, but we at Republic want you to know that there's always a way. Ask us about our suite of mortgages. Let's help make your housing wishes come true. Or advise on how the equity in your existing home can finance other dreams and goals. Call or go online to learn more.
Bust the flavors. We're full of flavors. bust the flavors that my crave for. We're full of flavors. Tell your neighbors about the buster flavors. Grab a buster flavors. Yeah, thirst buster. Grab a buster flavor, taste the savor. Buster flavors. Buster flavors.
Across the region tonight, the government of Canada has advised its citizens traveling to St. Martin to expect nationwide power outages. However, in its color-coded risk-level travel advisory, Canada still gives St. Martin a green status, which means that travelers should exercise normal security precautions. The travel advice, which was updated on the 5th of June on the safety and security, warned that power outages are occurring several times per day and can last many hours. Canadians were advised that if traveling to St. Martin, they should have an emergency kit on hand, including flashlights, power banks, and chargers. In Montserrat, the Ministry of Health and Social Services has announced an outbreak of scabies on the island. In a statement on Thursday, the ministry said immediate action is necessary to control and prevent further spread. Scabies is a highly contagious skin condition caused by the infestation of the skin by the human itch mite. Scabies is spread through close personal contact with an infected person, which includes skin-to-skin contact or sharing clothing, bedding, and towels. The infection causes a pimple-like rash and intense itching, which is usually more severe at night. The rash may appear in various parts of the body, particularly in folds of the skin. Young children are most at risk for the infection. Members of the public in Montserrat have been advised to closely monitor themselves and others in their care for symptoms of scabies. And finally tonight, international news. The United Nations has called for the immediate release of 11 of its personnel who have been detained by the Houthi movement in Yemen. The employees were taken in various parts of the conflict-torn country in what appears to be a coordinated crackdown. UN spokesman Staffan Dujarric said the world body was pursuing all available channels to secure their safe and unconditional release as rapidly as possible. The armed group sees itself as part of an Iranian-led axis of resistance against Israel, the US, and the wider West, and has declared its support for Palestinians in the Gaza Strip. The Houthis have also been targeting commercial shipping in the Red Sea, triggering retaliatory airstrikes by the US and its allies. Several employees of other international organizations have also been detained, reports quoting officials from Yemen's internationally recognized government said. Phones and computers were seized during the raids on the workers' homes and their offices, which come after months of Houthi attacks on commercial ships in the Red Sea. And that's your News Source Evening Bulletin for tonight and this week. I'm Gordon Mosley reporting and encouraging you to have a safe and enjoyable weekend. Good night.